recording the minutes. That's great. I'll just go ahead and share my screen. Well, we request that you please stay on mute, please, throughout the session. And when you need to speak, when during the interactive session or segment, sorry, we will ask you to raise your hand and then we'll bring you off mute. So, but at this time, everyone needs to go on mute, please. There's just some people who are not on mute. But I want to welcome you, right? It's really nice and sunny in the town where I live today. It's gorgeous out there, and I hope you've got great weather where you are. You can't do much with it, but it gives you that sense, that positive sense that things are looking. Okay, cool. Okay, can we put people on mute, please, until when they need to speak? Bit of perfect. Thank you. So, no, everyone's not on mute. Everyone's not on mute. That's better. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so we are going to have an absolutely amazing time today. I've got something really cool for us to go through today, right? I want to also thank you again for joining from wherever you joined from. Majority of you are from the UK, then Nigeria, then Ireland, and other countries. But these are the few main areas that countries people have joined in from. So thank you for doing that. And last week we had a really good time. 2 weeks ago was cool as well, and today we're going to take it a step higher. So if you I'm sure you got it, you got what we did last week and 2 weeks ago, because we had really good feedback from you, great feedback, amazing feedback on what do you call that, on YouTube, on Instagram, on WhatsApp, on my phone, everywhere. So thank you for that, for taking the time to share the feedback. And then we're going to build on what you learned in the past 2 weeks. We're going to build on that.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to build on that and take it a step higher, right? Now, remember, this is really distracting. Guys, can we stay on mute until when we need to speak, please? Thank you. Right. So we're going to build on that. So last week we actually this is the outline for today, right? This is the outline for today. We'll do a recap of last week, and then we'll review your take-home exercise, which I gave you. I hope you did something on that. And then what I really want us to get into today is BDD, the almighty BDD, very popular, ever popular, in high demand as well. We are going to spend time on that today. And guess what? We're going to be joined by a special guest today as well. Towards the end, maybe 6:45 or so, there will be a special guest. So I'm not going to tell you who that is until they turn up at that time. We'll take questions. We'll thank you. We close around about 7 or just after 7 p.m. today. Okay, so let's quickly do a recap of last week. Okay, so last week we looked at this scenario, and it's about the local restaurant in Northampton. We looked at it last week and the week before. The local restaurant in Northampton, now people are not going out to eat. Everyone is in lockdown right now. So they've approached us to say they need ability for people to place orders on their website and have the meals delivered to them. The same way that you do for your pizzas today. That's been done as well. Okay, the one that's been done for the meals that they serve as well. And we agreed as a group here that we will be using the Agile methodology to deliver that project for us. That was 2 weeks ago. And then we went through story mapping, which is absolutely amazing. Last week, however, we took it a step higher and we looked at impact mapping. Now, impact mapping, we saw had a bit more flesh, if you like, than story mapping, in the sense that it answers some questions that story map did not answer. Story map more directly gave us the answer of what do you want to build, or what functionalities do you want in the new product, what features do you want in the product. It did answer that question, story mapping, the one we did 2 weeks ago. But last week we saw one that answers that question plus more. It answers the question of why are we doing this as a business? Who's going to be involved? And how does this help us as a business achieve our vision? So on the screen now is what we used as an example last week. The why is the vision. So they had a vision of growing their sales by 30%. So that's the why. And then you listed out the key actors that you thought are in this game, as it were, in this process. So existing customers, new customers, payment platform, and delivery company. You listed them out. Then you listed in the what column, you listed out the functionalities that each of these actors would require on the platform. Listed out there. And then finally, the third row, we have the how, which is how will these help the business achieve their sales growth of 30%. So we saw all of that, and that was cool. You asked some questions, we tried to answer, and I think people got it. So this is a sample impact map. From this, we were able to identify user stories such as these. You told me these 2 user stories, and there's a lot more there, but these are 2 good examples that we took away from the impact map that we saw on the previous slide. And that's how far we got last week. It was really exciting. I gave you a take-home, a takeaway exercise. Again, a bit of an unhealthy food there, but you might need a bit of that to keep the energy levels up. And same scenario as 2 weeks ago with a bit of a twist, grow their revenue by 5%. So that's how far we got last week. And you were meant to go away, do this, and share your thoughts today. So I'm going to breathe now, sip my water, whilst one of you decides to, whilst we wait for someone to decide to share what they came up with, having looked at this exercise last week. What is the impact map that you created? If you want to do this, you need to put your hand up, and then we'll bring you off mute to share what you came up with. So you need to electronically put your hand up, and then we'll bring you off mute to share if you would like. All right. So this is last week's exercise. We want to know, how did you get on? What was your result like? What did you come up with? That's what we want to see. Yeah, Aya's raised his or her hand, so maybe we'll go to Aya.
I think you said that we should meet properly. Okay.
Hi, Aya.
Browser.
Aya, can you put yourself off mute? That's fine. If you can. The Aya that raised her hand or his hand. Put yourself off mute, and then if you want to answer that question, if you want to tell us.
I'll speak now.
Yeah, Aya, please go ahead. Thank you. Okay. Aya, you still want to share?
The caller has hung up. This caller was brought to you by WeQForYou. To save time and money on your mobile.
All right, cool, perfect. Is there anyone that want to share how they got on with their exercise from last week? Right, apologies, guys, for the disturbances. But I think people are getting a hang of the platform and they'll still hear me. Okay, Chike's hand is up. Chike, do you want to share quickly so that we get into today's activities? Got really beautiful stuff for you today. Really cool stuff. Chike, you can put yourself off mute and share.
You're off mute now, Chike.
Hey, Chike, you want to share?
No, I raised my hand by mistake. Sorry, I'm not ready to take that.
Don't worry about it. Okay, that's fine. If nobody wants to share, I see IS raising their hand again, but I don't know if it was an error or not, but it's fine. So this is the takeaway we gave you last week, and I know lots of you did it, but maybe people don't want to speak on the call due to the number of people on the call, but that's perfectly fine. we tried our hand on it as well. Now I'm going to show you the slide of what we came up with. I'll show you the slide in a second. Now, yours will not be 100% like this. Mine will not 100% be like yours. They will not be the same. It does not mean that mine's wrong. It does not mean that yours is wrong. So, just to give you an idea, right? It's not exhaustive. Everything is not on there. So I better put that disclaimer so that you don't lose heart and say that you've not done it well. No, it doesn't mean that, right? So, but you may come up in terms of the who. We thought about existing customers of the, this is a bank, isn't it? Of the bank. It is existing customers who might then want to purchase the additional product, which is the travel card. We thought about brand new customers who may not be banking with them, but want their product. We thought about the staff who process the request when they come through. We thought about the delivery company who will transport the product from the bank to the customer. So we'll talk about those who's, then we'll talk about the words that each of these actors will carry out. And then finally, we looked at how each of these will then help the bank achieve their revenue growth target of 5% by the end of this calendar year. That is what we thought of. And like I said, there is a lot more actors that you could have thought of. There are a lot more words that you could have thought of. There are a lot more hows you could have thought of, right? The only thing that will be consistent between this and yours is the why. Everything else could be more, or you could have had it less as well, all right? So this is an example. So if there is anyone that wants to share feedback on that, how it compares to yours, or what you don't agree with, etc., on this before we move on from it. Good. Yes, no? You raise your hand if you want to speak, and it really needs to be interactive. I think it was really interactive last week, so we need to carry on with that style as well. Just put your hand up, we'll put you off mute so that you can speak. Okay, Aya raised their hand in error. That's fine, don't worry, Aya. Is there anyone else that want to share feedback on this? Okay, that's fine. Guys, it's really important that you carry out the exercises that you're given at the end of the sessions, because it will be really good practice for you. No matter how simple they may look, but really, really good practice. So I strongly recommend that you do that. So someone's raised their hand. PTs has raised their hand. So if you can come off mute and share. What does the raised hand symbol look like? It looks like a hand. It looks like that, just next to your name. Mary's asking, but Mary, if you want to speak, feel free to come off mute and speak. It's fine.
Hello, can you hear me?
Is that pretty?
I'm pretty well, PC. Yeah, please go ahead.
Just to listen.
I want just to listen.
Hi, Betty, we can hear you. Do you want to hear?
Okay, my question is on how, for the existing customers, you've put create awareness. This awareness is in terms of the new scheme or new products or existing one?
The new product, the new product. So the travel card. So they are existing customers. Maybe they've got current account and what do you call that account? Savings account or a mortgage even, but they don't have that travel card and they don't even know the bank is offering it. So this is to create awareness of that new product. 100% correct.
Okay, so that also applies to new customers as well, isn't it?
We'll do, but in the case of new customers, they're not customers at all. So it's a language, it's nomenclature. So for new customers who said win their business entirely, because they're not customers already. But yeah, it will do. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for sharing. Okay, perfect. So let's run because of time. So that's what we looked at last week, and then from that you could easily come up with some of these examples that we have on the screen right now. As an existing customer of the bank, I want to be able to review the benefits of the travel card so I can decide on which to obtain. So I've taken this user story example from the impact map that I've just shown you. So the dial-off tone is come back on it again. So TJ, if you can turn it off, please. Thank you. And then we've had another example as well. As a new customer, I want to be able to join. I want to be able to view the joining bonus so I can decide if it's worth obtaining a travel card. Okay, perfect. Cool. So this is all cool. And what I really want to take us through today is take it a step higher, and I will explain why we need to take it a step higher, because we've learned how to do user stories. User stories are useful. They're here to stay. Organizations require you to be able to produce user stories for them all the time, definitely, right? However, there is something missing. Okay, there is something. Guys, can stay on mute, please. A little bit distracting when noises come up like so. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me put my screen back on. I lost it. Perfect. So there's something missing when you have just the story, right? There's something essentially that is missing there, which the approach we'll be looking at today will help you. Apologies for the noise. Seem to have it now. Apologies, guys. Apologies. I think the recording might turn out to be poor, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, where are we? So, user stories are great, but there is something missing, which what we're going to teach you today will then help you to overcome, right? To bridge that gap of what is missing, right? For example, one of the examples I have on here says that the first example I have, second example says, as a new customer, I want to be able to view the joining bonus so I can decide if it's worth obtaining the travel card. Now, if you give this information to the developers, they will build something for that, something that will show the bonus, the joining bonus, but there's a level of information that is lacking. That's the level of information that is lacking, and because it's lacking that information, when it gets to the developer, they might end up building something that is not what you intended. Or when it gets to testing, the way they test it may not be exactly testing what you had in mind, right? So we'll look at BDD today, behavioral or behavior-driven development, and that will close the gaps that we had from the simple user stories that we already have created. All right. So first of all, what is this? What is BDD? Let's start from there. All right. Let's start from there. So we've written there, it's an agile software development process that encourages collaboration among developers, testers, and the business whilst creating a software. Right. So you're creating a software. We are building something for this local restaurant in Northampton, and what I've done, let's say I'm the product owner. What I've done is to go and sit down with them, and they've told me what they want. They've told me what they want built as part of this product increment that we're building for them, and I bring that information back to my colleagues in mainstream careers. Let's say we have developers and we've got testers. And I'm passing that information to the testers to say, right, this is what the restaurant wants you to build. You go and translate it into technical codes. The testers, this is the requirements of what the restaurant wants, translate it into test cases. Both parties will go away, translate it how they understand it, which may be right or which may be wrong. I don't know. Right? So that's the traditional way of doing it. But what BDD says is, right, hang on, don't do that. don't let people go away in silos. Bring everyone together so that we can collaboratively create both the requirements and anything that's required for the coding and also for testing purposes. Let's do it collaboratively, right? So your traditional approach will get the requirement, the PO will get the requirement from the business, then the PO will give it to the testers and the IT guys. They'll go away, interpret it, translate it, and do whatever they want. But in BDD, which is a more collaborative software development process, it involves all the relevant parties in creating and agreeing what the requirements really should be. Now, typically, it's three actors, three groups of people that will be involved in this, and those three actors or three players are referred to as three amigos. Now, amigo number one will be the product owner or the business analyst, right? Who would have worked with the business already to have an idea of what the business wants. Amigo number two will be your developer, so the guy who's going to write the code, who's going to build the actual product. Amigo number three will then be the tester. So these three groups of people will sit down together and understand and develop what the requirements really are, as opposed to one party designing the requirements and passing down to others. No, we come together, all three amigos come together to define the requirements based on what the business already said to us, based on the discussion that the BA or the PO would have had with the business prior to that. All right. Let's give you an example and put it in perspective so that it's not a lot abstract. I'm going to go back to a previous example we looked at, and that will be this one that we looked at last week. Now, yeah, sure. And now this is talking about existing customers being able to receive discount, welcome back discounts, right? Now, this information would have been given to us by the business, and then it goes down to the coders who would then interpret it, translate it to technical codes, and build whatever they understand from this. This time we test that. What this does not tell us is when you say welcome back discount, what exactly do you mean? Do you mean, when would that happen? Does that mean the moment I log back in, I get given a discount? Or does that mean when I make my first purchase after come back? Does that mean someone who spent up to £100 before coming back to get a discount? Or is it anyone? It doesn't tell you. It doesn't answer that question, right? It doesn't answer that question because the business have given this information to us and we're just running with it. But in your BDD, the three amigos will come together and develop that in a way that it will make sense to, number one, the business, number two, the developers, and then number three, the testers as well. So these are the three amigos that will come together and develop this in a way that it will make sense to all the relevant parties. So it provides a better approach whereby these groups of people work collaboratively to create the shopping list. I call it the shopping list. So I'm in the product backlog, right? Yeah, I'm in the product backlog there when I say shopping list. To create that shopping list, the list of requirements, etc. So that's what we're going to look at today for the next several minutes. And then here, I've got a slide for you here. Adebusala is raising her hand. Chuka is raising their hand. I don't know if they really want to speak or if it's an error. But let's crack on and then we'll see. So the three amigos, having them work together really helps, number one, with collaboration, right? Rather than passing down instructions to other people, we are working collaboratively to create something that everyone will understand, right? So that's first value add. Second value is shared understanding. It means everyone has a common understanding of what's going on, of what is being expected. The language is business friendly as well. It's not too technical. And then number four, very important to me, we end up creating scenarios rather than just requirements. We end up creating scenarios rather than just requirements. Now, someone just asked me a question. Now, are we talking about Gherkin language here? The answer is yes, we are. So that's an output of the behavior-driven development, right? Rather than just write simple user stories or straightforward requirements, we go ahead and define scenarios, possible scenarios, what should happen, and what the effect will be, what the outcome will be if that happens. All right. So perfect. So the number 4 points there, the scenarios, they are provided in the form of given, when, then, right? Rather than just say, as a user, I want to be given a discount when I make multiple purchases. Rather than say just that, we put it in a form of given, when, then. Or given that I'm a customer, for example, and I do this, this should happen, right? So I've got some examples here for us. Actually, let's pause there and take, I think there's 1 or 2 questions. So I have a question. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you? My question is, it's Busala, by the way. How are you? My question is, currently now at work, during my interview with my new job, they actually asked me about BDD format, but this is with Salesforce. So are you talking about the backlog from either Jira or any software that, from your example that you were given previously?
100%, yeah. So your Jira and all whatnot are places where you can store your product backlog. But yeah, 100%, we are talking about backlog, product backlog, or your shopping list or your requirement list. Yes, that is what we're trying to create. 100%.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
That's all right. Gregory's asking, how do you link user stories to test cases? This will answer that question. This will automatically do that for you. We're going to see that in a moment. Yeah. Is there any other question people want us to answer before we crack on?
Right. This is Rex.
Hi, Rex.
Just a quick one. Obviously, I know my level of experience is totally different. So I'm asking, is this an alternative to the impact mapping? Is this an alternative method to the impact mapping?
I'd say yes. I'd say yes. Now, organizations could decide to merge both or even 3 of them together. Depends what they're trying to achieve. But if you're using this, you really don't need to start stressing yourself over that again, because this really answers the questions of what do we really need to build and give you all the scenarios, bring everyone together. Or some people could decide to impact map first and then I'll pull out all the words at the end of it to create this in addition. It depends on your vision. Right.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. But end of the day, Rex, this will also give you your requirement list. It will tell you what you need to build and what you need to test as well. That's the question that we've been trying to answer with all the approaches we've been looking at.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm glad you asked that question. I think that clarifies a lot. Yeah, it answers the question, what are we building? What functionalities will be included in this website upload, right? Story mapping can answer that question. Impact mapping can answer that question. And what we're looking at today can also answer that question. Fantastic, brilliant. So what this follows is what people do sometimes is they write user stories first, and then they write this as the acceptance criteria, right, in a template. So we could send a template to you later if required. They could write user stories in Excel or in Jira, as Busola said. And then the acceptance criteria, they could then write like so, right? Gherkin syntax, given, when, then. They could decide to write it like that. Or some people will just do away with user stories completely and just write your given, when, then only. And it does answer the question you're trying to answer. So let's go through it and see what we get from it. Then we'll take questions, because I know there will be lots of questions on this. So it follows a simple format: given, when, then. For example, given that I arrive at the airport, when the security asks for my passport, if that will ever happen again, then I'll pull it out from my pocket, or then something happens, right? So it gives a scenario. The first one is talk about what the software will look like to the user, and then talk about things that the user will do when that scenario happens, and then talk about what they should expect to see eventually, right? So I have some examples for you here. Just follow the number one here, add it to one here, add it to one there. It says, given I am shopping on Latho's website, when I add more than one item to the shopping basket, then I should get an automatic, what is that? Let's remove my face from there. Then I should get an automatic multi-buy discount of 10% applied on the total figure. I will read that again, then I'll take you back to the corresponding user story so that you compare and tell me the one that you prefer. Given I am shopping on Lafo's website, when I add more than one item to the shopping basket, then I should get an automatic multi-buy discount of 10% applied to the total basket figure. Now keep that in mind, and let me take you back a little bit to this user story. Look at this user story, this one here. New customer, as a customer, I want to obtain multi-buy discount so that I will be encouraged to spend more money there, right? That is the same user story that we've managed to put in a gherkin style, right? In the world of BDD. So there, in the world of BDD, it answers more questions than it does answer here. There, it tells us what the discount percentage is. It tells us the condition for applying the discount. It tells us what the customer will be doing at the time the discount will be applied. It is not clear on here. I know you can go back and ask, and they'll give you that information. But in going back to ask, you're wasting time. This is time that we would have used to build a product. You're just wasting it for nothing, right? So that, I hope that clearly shows you the benefit of this, because it answers the questions that people might ask as they start developing. It answers the questions that people might have when they start testing. Very clearly, I think someone already asked that question. How do you get test cases from requirements? Very clearly, in this example we've just seen, you can easily see how test cases will be pulled up from here. You can easily, if you're a developer, it makes a lot more sense to you what it is that you need to build or what you need to develop. And if you're a tester, it makes a lot more sense what you're going to test, because it gives you the criteria for the testing, and it tells you when to look out for what. So a few people have asked, is this the Gherkin language? 100% it is the Gherkin language. Some call it the Gherkin syntax. But it's all associated to the world of BDD, behavioral driven development. So this is a behavior here. The first statement I gave you is a behavior. Given I am shopping, right? If my behavior is shopping on this website, the moment I add more than one item to the shopping basket, I should get an automatic 10% discount applied to my basket. So it gives you a beautiful scenario, right? And now you cannot come up with this beautiful scenario if all three parties don't work together. Your three amigos, right? Your business representative, who's the BA or PO, your coder, right, developer, and your QA guy, the tester. When these three parties come together, they build something really beautiful. Guess what? They play a key role in a project anyway. So it makes perfect sense to engage them from the onset, especially when developing the requirements or the backlog, as Busola put it earlier. So that's one really cool example for you that we took away from our restaurant example. So I'm going to pause there. I think there's quite a few questions coming in chat. Unfortunately, I only see them flash and they disappear. So I'm going to ask you to speak up. Barbara, I think you have a question. Please go ahead with your question. You can bring yourself off mute, Barbara, and ask your question. I think
Thank you.
yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly. Hey.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You're doing an amazing job. Love you. So my question to you is, the story diagram that you had.
Yeah.
One that showed as a customer like to buy something. It's the first time I'm seeing this. What tool did you use to design this, please?
Oh, this thing, this impact map.
mapping. I've not done it before, so
Okay, no. So this one was done. This one you're looking at now was done using Visio. Is it? Yeah, Visio. It, MS Word could do this as well. Probably easier on Visio, to be fair. But Visio is probably easier. Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
So now Visio could do a lot more than process mapping. So it's such a cool tool, actually. Okay, let's take one or two more questions before we crack on. What is the impact of Three Amigos on? I missed that. That person, can you come off mute and ask a question? Impact of Three Amigos on something? On sprint velocity. I need you to come off mute and ask on voice if possible, so that I can get better context around.
This is Chike.
Hey, Chike.
I just want to ask, during the meeting of Three Amigos, and well, there's a question about the percentage, like you've shown us in the other users table that we did the other day. Did it actually go down to the level understanding how much percentage when it comes to discounts? Yeah, assuming that the Three Amigos don't have the answer at that point in time, and who goes to clarify? Is it the people?
Okay, that's a really good question. Chike, don't go mute yesterday because I'm going to make you answer that question in a second. That's going to be your reward. So the question is, the Three Amigos come together. There's a question that cannot be answered. An example of that is what amount of percentage discount will be applied. Chike, between the business analyst or the PO and the developer and the tester, who do you think will go back to the business to get that information?
I know that the people owns the product. I think maybe in some organizations the people here, some organizations the people here.
Did you say PO or BA?
I said I know that the PO owns the backlog.
Yeah. So yeah, 100%. Yeah, you've answered it. Is the PO or the business? Or the BA? Sorry, the business facing person will then go back to the business to get clarity on that if they don't already know that. Right? 100%. It will not be the developer. 100%. Well, 70%. It will not be QA. But near 100%, it will be BA or PO, whoever is the business-facing person in the Three Amigo world. Yes. Is that all right? And sometimes, it's a bit of flexibility here as well. Sometimes it might be something that you already know. It might be something that you might be able to answer. But to your point, if you can't answer it, let the PO or BA go back to the business. Okay. Okay. Thank you. I'm gonna need Cordelia. Where the BA is a proxy. Sorry, it was too fast. It went off. Cordelia, do you want to come off mute and share? I think you've got good thoughts there to share.
There's a question from Ola. It says, what's the difference between BDD and Scrum?
Ah, that's a good one. Okay, thank you. Let's come back to that in a second. Was that you, Cordelia, ready to speak?
Yes. Yeah, hi guys, I'm Cordelia. And in response to the question which our colleague just asked now, who will be able to get to the business to get the percent? My response here is the PO, because the PO has a direct interaction with the business. Or in my own situation over where I work, we act as a proxy PO when the PO is not around. So we have a direct contact and direct communication with the stakeholders and with the business. So we'll be able to have a chat or communicate with the stakeholders and get that percentage back. So that's my response.
100%. Thank you, Cordelia. So it's spoken from experience. That's literally what she's done, which is amazing. Perfect. So guys, now in the interest of time, I wanted to start thinking about more examples based on the scenario we've been working on. That local restaurant in Northampton, we're building something for them. You wrote user stories for them last time. I want you to go and look at the user stories now. It might be in your workbook already, and start thinking about the scenarios you could pull out from there. I want you to start thinking about them in a Gherkin style. And I need maybe 2 or 3 people to give us examples so that we can populate the rest of this. I've put 2 examples there myself. So hey, I've done well, right? So you do the 3. So second example I put there, I say, given I'm registered on this website, when I send my referral code to a non-existent customer, then I should receive a referral credit of £100 into my account. So that's really specific what should happen when someone refers someone. And it tells you how referral will happen. It tells you how you will be rewarded. It tells you what the amount should be. It tells you where the amount should go. It is very clear. That way, when we are testing, the tester will not be checking your personal bank account. They will be checking your trade account with this restaurant to see if the money has gone in there. It's all very clear to everyone. Okay. So if you're ready, just put your hand up. We need 3 more examples so that I can populate this, and then we'll have a full document to work with. Yeah. Okay. So PT wants to answer. Please go ahead. Put yourself off mute and tell us. PT, do you want to go ahead? Is that an error? Anyone who's ready? I want numbers 3, 4, and 5, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Given I'm registered on Uber app,
Okay, it's a different scenario, but go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
when I use it for the first time,
Yes.
then
What happens?
then I should get free ride up to £15.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. And does this actually happen? I think this actually happens. They give you a free ride when you first download their app, doesn't it? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Any more examples? Preferably related to our website, please. The restaurant website.
Can I try, please?
Of course.
I'm new to this. I've never done this before.
Go for it. Go for it.
Given that I shop regularly on Lapo's website,
Okay. Yeah.
when I use the website, then when I use the website regularly, then I should get a reward after shopping at certain time, number of times.
So what is number of times? You need to be a bit more specific.
After ordering like 5 times, then I should get a reward.
Given that
of free, maybe £10 worth of voucher.
Okay, so given that I am registered to shop on Lapo's website, right? Did you say after shopping for 10 times? Did you say when I have made 10 unique purchases? Yeah, let's say purchases. Then what do you want?
Then I should get £20 voucher.
I should get a 20. Yeah, that's good. That makes sense to me. A £20 credit in my Knuckles account. Okay, that's really, I like that. Thank you. You see, that's good. I really like that. That is so cool. That is so cool. So thank you, the 2 people that spoke up. Look what we managed to put together. Right? I've got one more.
Fred, I got one.
I have one too. Yeah.
Right.
Go on.
Can I try? Is this Sosa here?
Yeah. Hey, go
on. Given that I have placed items in my basket.
Good. Yes.
When I abandon my session for more than 24 hours.
Okay, that's good.
I should get an email reminding me of my abandoned cart.
I like that. That makes sense. That's brilliant. I think someone even already clapped for you. There, I should get an email reminder, blah 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 blah. Perfect. I've run out of space. Perfect. That is good. I think you definitely get it. Those of you that spoke up, you definitely get it.
Mary Hardy also has one.
Yeah, I found the icon and I've been pressing it, but
Mary, go on. What do you want to say?
when I finally found it, so I've got one.
Go on.
So given that I'm placing an order on the website, when my items reach £20, then I should get free delivery.
Perfect. That is good. And what do you mean by free delivery? Anywhere in the country, or is it 2 miles from the shop, or do you see what I mean?
That's interesting.
Do you see?
I guess it depends on the locality. So wherever I'm ordering from. So if for example, La Fosse order only within certain cities, then perhaps I could qualify for.
And this is good, right? This is good, Mary. So you've spoken from a business perspective. Let's assume
use UK mainland.
Yeah, let's say you're the PO, Mary, and you've spoken, and I'm the other amigo, I'm the tester. I'm going to say to you, I'm going to ask you the questions I just asked you, right? Because in my test case, I want to define all of those. And Rashid, who just spoke now, is a developer. He's going to have questions to ask you. Florence just sent a question. Florence has challenged us to say, what do we mean by unique in number 4? What does unique purchases mean? Do you see? She's thinking, how's she going to code it? What does unique mean? Does it mean one purchase per day, or you purchase one item, you log out, you log back? What does it mean? She wants to know. So that's the benefit of having the 3 amigos come together. There'll be lots of clarity. It's going to save us time in the future as well. If you work this way, it's going to be a lot quicker, right? A lot quicker because everyone's clear on what's expected. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Mary. Thanks everyone that spoke up. And the other term, finally, Cucumber, software tool that runs. Now, the reason we put this in this slide is this. Sometimes you go for interviews and they ask you some of these terms which don't really mean much, don't really nothing, but because you don't know it, just puts you off a little bit. Yeah, it's a fruit, but it's still a software tool as well. Is it fruit or veg? It's actually a veg. A software tool that runs automated acceptance tests. Essentially, once you've written your gherkin in form of given, when, then, you could load it into this tool. This tool understands how to read that language. It will run the test for you in an automated fashion, right? So this Cucumber software understands that gherkin language. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna pause there. If I give you your takeaway assignment, I think my guest must be here now. Michael, are you on?
Sorry, before your guest comes, can I just ask a question, please?
Of course.
Now you said that if you use the Gherkin method, then you can just load it onto Cucumber and it will run it. Will that be counted as automated testing?
Yeah, it will be. That's
automated testing.
That's what Cucumber does for you. Yeah. So an example would be what someone just spoke about now. You make 10 purchases, 10 unique purchases, and then you get £50, right? So this system could help you do that. You could do that test, yeah.
Wow, thanks. I thought you had to learn some, developer languages and all that for you to be an automated tester.
Yeah, well, yeah, you need to understand how it works, but I suppose our point is that this system, if you're an automated tester, you could use this system to achieve automated testing. You see?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, perfect.
Hi, Fred.
Hey.
Hi. You did mention about the Cucumber, but you remember if you use Cucumber for BDD, you need to map your codes to your syntax. 100%. So you still need to learn programming language.
True, you're right. Yeah.
Because you have to map your BDD to your codes.
100%.
I understand, and you still need to learn how to code.
That knowledge needs to be in the team. Remember, it's not just you. Can we put one on mute, please? Thank you. There are at least 3 amigos, right? So at least one of the amigos will have the understanding, right? So we are working collaboratively. let's say, is it Mary, the last person that asked the question, might be the peer or the BA. She might have that knowledge, she might not have it, but as a team, we're using Cucumber. There's someone else in the team who's more technical, who understands it, who could do that mapping. Boom, we're in. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's I've got takeaway assignment, so please stay on. I'll see how to give it to you. My guest is going to share for maybe 5 minutes or so. Michael, if you're ready, I'll stop sharing. And I don't know if you've got a slide. I will make you. Oh, I can't make you the presenter. TJ, can you make him the presenter, please? Because you've got the power. Oh, there you go. All right. So, guys, Michael wanted to share very briefly, maybe 5-8 minutes, about want to share on robotics, right? To think about what's going to happen. That there is a massive market, a massive world of robotics coming up. So he's an expert. I'm not going to waste your time. He will talk to you about it briefly. Michael, over to you. We can hear you.
Marvelous. Thank you so much. I was enjoying all of that BDD cucumber. It was refreshing. Thank you for sharing. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending where you are in the world watching this. I'm gonna just talk very quickly about RPA and some of the training opportunities that we have going at MS Career. So without going into too much details, obviously all of us have seen or somehow had the impact of COVID-19 in the businesses, economies, you name it, especially within the job market. And I think now more than businesses are realizing that there have been fundamental flaws within their business resilience. Okay, and what do I mean by that is COVID-19 has exposed a lot of industries, a lot of sectors, not being as resilient as they. For example, the insurance industry. At this point in time, they're going to be having massive claims that are going to be going through huge demands, but limited supply in a sense of their workforce is limited. So right now is a good time to really, obviously, as you guys have been doing with Fred, upskilling yourself and what I refer to as stacking competency or skill stacking or knowledge stacking. RPA is just one of those additional things that is going to fall into high demand, especially at this time. It was already on an upward trajectory, but I think now within the pandemic, it's something that has been heightened. I overheard somebody asking a question around automated testing and thinking that they had to learn some, sophisticated coded language. One of the misconceptions that come about with RPA is that you have to be a skilled developer, or you have to be a computer scientist, or you have to have quite a lengthy IT background. All of those things are not true. And the main reason for that is Blue Prism, UiPath, Anywhere. All of these RPA vendor software have been designed with the business in mind. Okay, so a great majority of them have no code or very little code that is involved. As far as you can understand a business process and you understand Visio diagrams, then you're already at a good kind of potential to understand how to develop. So I don't have time to go, but just very, very quickly. So myself, I'm an RPA expert. I've been consulting within the field of financial service for the last 6 years. Predominantly around banks and insurance processes, but I've done a few things within asset management. The key thing I wanted to kind of call out here was, if you can see at the bottom, my background comes within accounting and finance. Okay, so I've done a business economics degree. I went in and I trained as an accountant, moved into a financial analyst, and then moved into financial consulting. And then I transitioned into RPA. And I've been within that field for the last 6 years or so, and I've become an SME very, very quickly. One of the things that helped me and put me at an advantage to learn things quicker than some of my peers was the fact that I came from an industry. Okay, I had very good understanding of financial processes, and then I was able to tag it along to the RPA side of things. I'll probably send these slides across because it's quite lengthy. I guess the main thing I wanted to show you guys, as I'm mindful I've got about 5 minutes, is RPA is relevant in all industries. Okay, so we talk about services, finance, healthcare, government, retail. The reason why that's so important is because many of you have got a skill set in a specific industry. Okay, you understand the processes and how they work within your field. All you need now is to stack a level of competency on top of that, and then it boosts your earning potential. And just to kind of give you a graphical representation of what that looks like, many of you will be familiar with Sophia, okay, which is the skills framework for the information age, which is effectively a globally recognized framework of different skills and competencies within an IT infrastructure. So business analysis falls within there. Some of you might have had experience with visualization tools like Tableau or Spotfire. Project management even falls in there in a level of competency. But effectively, at this level or at a level of your career, you don't want to be starting again. You don't want to be starting again and having to work your way up. So what we're basically saying is, or what RPA allows you to do is, it allows you to facilitate your current job role, okay, your current job role, but take it and what is this role going to look like in the next 5 years? One of the main reasons I transitioned into the RPA space is I was trained as an accountant, and I thought within the next 10, 15 years, the role of an accountant is either going to be discontinued, okay, or it's going to change significantly because a lot of the work we was doing can be optimized by a robot. Take an audit, for example. Companies, massive revenue generating, but 1% profit within an audit. Suddenly, if you can get a robot to do the audit, you take a 1% profit to a 30% profit. And for a business, CIO, CFO, that's a... If you look on the hand side, this is probably a typical person's journey, okay? They might start off with some basic process knowledge, either as an administrator, something a bit more advanced around data gathering or analysis, and then they become a specialist in a particular field. So if you think about Agile, you might now become a product owner. Specific pocket in your industry. And then you add on some additional digital skills, such as digital visualization, Tableau, and then RPA. On the right-hand side, this is my journey, business economics degree. The main thing I wanted to call out here is this skill stacking that we refer to. Each step of the way, when I got to here and I was an RPA developer, I wasn't paid as just a developer. Okay, so the whole thing here is versus somebody that just came out of university, done a computer science degree and became a developer, I was able to command more. My earning potential was more because I had all these other skills that's with me. So if you have Agile, you're a business analyst, you're a project manager, those are skill sets that are very necessary when it comes to an RPA lifecycle. What we're talking about is stacking your skill set on top of that, because there's something I read in the paper the other day, which is 40% of business processes are going to have a level of automation within it. And I actually think that number's far more. If a company hasn't invested into RP or some level of automation, believe you me, within the next 12 months, they're already creating budgets to apply for that, because right now their business operations are folding because they can't continue. There's not a level of business continuity because they haven't built up those infrastructures for automation. Now where you're no longer reliant so much on people, you're going to want to automate those processes that people were doing, which were repetitive, low value tasks. And then you're going to leave the people to do what people should do best, which is. So the whole idea is not just to make roles redundant. The whole concept of RPA in industry currently is we want to free up humans so that they can do what they're meant to do, which is more sophisticated problem solving. So what we're offering is the training course will basically last over a period of a month, and we'll look specifically at Blue Prism as a software, and we will go through different trainings. So you will learn how to develop. Within the first week or so, you'll be developing your own robotic processes. And believe you me, take it from me, it is not as scary as it sounds. When you talk about a developer, there is no code. You're not going to be learning sophisticated coding language, but you are going to be learning a very important skill set, which would help you along that journey that job readiness. And then of course we'll do the CV mapping and show you the different types of roles. So lastly, within our RPA kind of center of excellence, you have all of these different roles that are included, and you can see something familiar here on the right, which is a BA. I heard Fred talking about Jira and product backlogs. That is all part of your RPA automation infrastructure, okay? And over the 4 weeks, we'll give you access to Blue Prism, which is leading in the market of automation, and will also teach you all of the components and run specific business cases with you so you can become a developer and work with you to put your CV together and go out for either roles within your current organization that are automation driven or new roles completely which require automation. Okay, so that's all I wanted to share with you guys. Hopefully, Fred I'll pass on the details of these slides and you can have a read through it in a bit more detail. We have the course that starts on the 22nd. I'm sure Fred will share with you guys some more information. Any questions, feel free to send them to me via email or to Fred via email.
Brilliant. Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much.
Sir.
That was insightful. So guys, yeah, so that's your robotics world. I think that's one that is it doesn't need much saying on. It is one that has definitely taken over, particularly with the way the world is going now, definitely. So that doesn't need much. So if you need more information, I know we're out of time. If you need more information on that, give me a call straight after this. I will furnish you with that. Like Michael said, we've got a session starting this weekend on robotics. So Michael is the expert on that, and he'll take you for a period of four weeks on that. Okay, perfect. Cool. So this is your takeaway assignment for this week. Now, guys, I know there's a pressure on time, right? Everyone's busy in the lockdown, etc. But if you can make half an hour or 45 minutes to go through this exercise, you will get used to it, essentially, right? You will get used to it. It'll be better practice. I know what we discussed today made sense to you. However, you need to put it into practice. So someone's asking for my number. TJ will put my number on the forum in a bit, and everyone will have it. But what I want you to do is I want you to write the Gherkin syntax for each of the user story that you previously identified, either from your story mapping or from your impact mapping last week. Put them in form of Gherkin. Like I said, most companies out there will have their Gherkin as their acceptance criteria to the user stories. It's not really necessary to do that, but that's what they want. So that's what we'll do. They pay our salaries, right? So hey, who cares? So have your user stories and then write the acceptance criteria in form of Gherkin. So given, when, then. So all our calls are recorded, not all our calls. All the courses as part of this Agile series have been recorded, and they're all uploaded to our YouTube channel. So please go to our YouTube channel, MS Careers, and you will find all the recordings, including today's recording. So some people have reached out to say, where are the recordings for last week and 2 weeks ago? They are all on YouTube. So on the screen right now, you see our YouTube channel address. It is at MS Careers, and my number is there as well. TJ's put it up, which is perfect. My number is on the screen. Someone's asking for it. Give us a call. Give me a call straight after this. I'm available. Drop me a message, WhatsApp, whatever. We could talk about the course that Michael spoke about, RPA. By the way, it is a virtual course. Given the nature of what it is 100% virtual. So you don't have to travel. There's no risk of contracting the virus, etc. No, and
access to Blue Prism also.
You get access to Blue Prism. Michael, what does it cost to get access to Blue Prism normally? Anyway, you were telling me a few thousand. Did you?
So the license costs for Blue Prism range between 5,000 to 13,000. But we'll give it to you guys up until August is when the license will expire. So you have it for at least 2 months.
Okay, perfect. So thanks for that. So it is access to that Blue Prism, which is hands-on, is part of the course itself. I don't think it gets any better than that. Okay, perfect. So those are more details on. Reach out to us. We'll give you a lot more details. Apologies, we are overrun today by 7 minutes. If you have questions, as I'm sure you would, either call me or go to our channel on YouTube. Leave your questions there, your comments. I will respond. Constantly visiting there to see what your questions are and respond to them. Okay, so just to respect people's time, we must end now, but we are back on next Tuesday. Something else exciting. We are looking at something really exciting next Tuesday. Please make sure you join. Invite your contacts as well from all around the world. It's virtual, so people can join from anywhere. I see just before we go, someone's keep asking the cost of the course. We've got 20% promo going on right now, which takes it down from £1,000 to £800. But just give us a call. We'll see what we can work out, especially if you've done a course here before. We'll see what we can work out. Okay, perfect. So let's leave it there, and until next Tuesday, be well. See you. Bye, guys.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Fred. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Fred. Thank you so very much.
Fred.
Thank you, Fred.